Hello everyone, in this lecture we are going to talk about Microsoft Excel, which is an application provided by the Microsoft company, and it is called Microsoft Excel application, and it's used to ordering data or writing data in a tabular basis or calculation and those kind of things. We are going to cover most of the important things available in the Microsoft Excel. So we say the Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet program. That means it consists of rows and columns, and those rows and columns are providing some cells which can be used in order to enter or to hold data such as numbers and text, or a result of calculation, or any type of data you want to enter. So the spreadsheet in Microsoft Excel is called worksheet, while the files are stored in Microsoft Excel are called workbook. In order to open a Microsoft Excel, you can just how to open Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint. You can open Microsoft Excel in the same way by clicking on the start menu, then click all programs, then Microsoft Office, then you can click Microsoft Excel. Even you can click on the search bar and type Microsoft Excel to open it. And it is consisting of the same parts which the other Microsoft Office programs have, like title bar, the quick access toolbar, ribbon, backstage view, and the status bar. It has those kind of things. So this is the main window of Microsoft Excel, which consists of some parts. For example, here we've got the title bar, and here is the status bar, and this is the main part of the Microsoft Excel. So this area is called the working area. You can write anything in this area. So we've got rows and columns, and the rows are specified or are recognized by the numbers, while the columns are specified and recognized by the columns. So each Microsoft Excel workbook or worksheet is divided into some rows and some columns, and you can enter any data anywhere inside this Microsoft Excel's work area. And this is called a cell. Okay, for example, this is a cell, this one another cell, this one another cell. It contains so many cells, and each cell can be used to to variety of purposes, and each cell has its own name. For example, this cell is named as A1. So by writing or by recognizing the column and the row, we can name the cell, or we can recognize the cell. For example, this cell is in column A and row 1, so it's called A1. This is the name box which tells you the name of the cell. And this one, for example, this one is F6, so this cell is F6, and for the others as well. You can name any cell in Microsoft Excel by the row and the column. And this one is called a formula bar, which can be used to insert any function which we are going to discuss in the upcoming slides. So each cell can be assigned to a data or a function. So whenever we are writing a function, we can write the function here, we can select the cell and write the function here, or we can select the cell here and then defining the function, or we can write down the function inside the cell itself, so it's going to be appeared in the formula bar or the function bar. And we can open any Microsoft Excel file here, a new one, by writing Excel here, and it's going to be appeared here. Just click on it, so a new Microsoft Excel is going to be open. So we are going to work on a blank workbook. Just double click on it, so this working area is going to be open. So this is a cell, these are columns, and these are rows, and this is a cell which is A1. So we have selected this one. If we select this one, it's going to be D and 6, so the name is going to be D6. you can move from one cell to another one by just clicking the cell, and we can select any cell, move from a cell to another one by pressing the arrow keys on the keyboard. And even we can select a range of cells. For example, these are called a range of cells, from this one to this one. And for example, if we want to do that, for example, we want to select from A1 up to C4. So what are we going to write here? Let's say A1, so we need to write this symbol up to C4. Just press enter, so they are going to be selected. However, we can select some cells which are not adjacent to each other, which are not in the same range, by pressing the control key and hold the control key on the keyboard and clicking on those cells which we want to select. For example, if you want to select those cells, so we can click on them, and then when you finish selecting, just release the control key. So this is how you can select some cells which are not adjacent or which are not neighbor. And we can add any type of data inside Microsoft Excel worksheet, especially the cells. For example, I'm clicking on this cell and I'm pressing 2, so 2 is going to be held inside that cell. And for example, say 5, and you can say, for example, KUST, and for example any type of data you can enter. So this is called a numeric data, and this one is called a text data or a string data. However, we can also enter functions. For example, in this cell I am going to enter a function, but in order to enter a function, you need to write down the assignment, and then for example this cell is assigned to what? For example, the addition of those two cells. Then click on this one, then write down the addition symbol, and then this one. So it's going to be assigned by the value of the addition of those two cells. Then when you finished writing that, press enter, so the calculation is going to be done. So 2 plus 5 is going to be 7. However, if we got 5, 7, whatever we have, 5, 2, and we are going to replace this one as well, 3, 1. So those cells, this one and this one and this one, doesn't have any function. In order to apply the function here on those cells, on those cells which are below that one, you can click on this corner, the left button corner. When this sign is appeared, click on it, hold the click, you need to drag it and come across those cells, and then release the mouse click. So it's going to be applied. 5 plus 7 is going to be 12. 5 plus 2 is going to be 7. 3 plus 1 is going to be 4. So when you click it, the function is going to be appeared then. So you can also write down by clicking the cell here, and then you can write down the function here. So any function you are writing here is going to be applied on that cell. And you can edit the data inside any cell by just clicking on the cell or selecting the cell and then write a new data. For example, this is true and it's going to be, for example, 3, and this one is 5. Just press 6, it's going to be 6. And we can also delete and you can also edit any function. For example, this is the addition. We are going to change it to, for example, subtraction. Let's say just delete it and convert it to subtraction. So press enter. So 5 minus 7 is going to be minus 2. And we can delete any data by pressing the delete key on the keyboard, or even we can delete any function here, so the function is going to be deleted. And we can search for any data inside our worksheet by using the find functionality inside Microsoft Excel. by clicking on this one, find and select, or by pressing Ctrl and F on the keyboard, click on that and then go to find, click it, and then what we are going to search for example, let's search for 3, and then say find all, in order to find all the 3 inside all the cells in this Microsoft Excel workbook. So you can select click on find all, so it tells you you've got 2 3 in F7 and F10. So this is F7, and this one is in F10. This is how you can search for any data inside the Microsoft Excel. And you can replace a data in Microsoft Excel to another data by clicking on the replace. Then which data you want to find and you want to replace to another data. For example, we are looking for 8, we are looking for example 5. Let's say, yeah, it's already 5, and we are going to change all the 5s to, for example, 15 or 13. Okay, so it's going to find that data and it's going to replace that data with this new one, which is 13, and click on the replace all. So all the 5s are going to be replaced with 13. And you can zoom in and zoom out any worksheet by clicking on this button in order to zoom out, and zoom in by clicking on this one, and even you can drag this one and release moving anywhere by zooming in and zooming out of your worksheet. And even you can change the magnification of your worksheet by clicking on this, and then it shows you this one, which is by default is 100%, but you can click on this one to zoom out, and this one to zoom in. Let's click on the OK. Look, it's going to be zoomed out, and you can bring it back to the default one, which is 100%, by clicking on that one and then click 100%, then OK. It's going to be brought back with the default one. Even Microsoft Excel allows you to print any workbook by clicking file and then going to print, and this is the print preview, which is showing you what is going to be on the hard paper, and you can select you can change the way you are printing. For example, print active sheets. Only those sheets which are active are going to be printed. Print entire workbook, the whole workbook are going to be printed. And print selection, only those area will be printed which are selected by you already have selected them, and so they are going to be selected. And those ones, just like the Microsoft Word, you can change the type of the paper and those kind of things. And Microsoft Excel allows you to resize the columns and the rows by moving the mouse pointer on those lines and click on it, then move any way you want. Just hold the click, so the cell is going to be it's going to be bigger or it's going to be smaller, so you can play with it. And even the rows can be changed in size and those kind of things. So you can change the size of the columns and the rows by moving, by bringing the mouse here, pointing the pointer over there and click on it, and then move wherever you want in order to change the height and the length of the rows and the columns. By default in the Microsoft Excel, the data which is entered to a cell or which is inside a cell is going to be placed in the left bottom corner. If you want to if you want to change the place of the data, you can click on those buttons, but which aligns the text for you. For example, this one is the top alignment, it moves the data to the top. This one is left, for example, this is top right. So but if you want to change to top left, you need to click on here and then left. But if you want to place it here in the middle center, you need to place the middle and then center, so you can play with the places of the data, but by default they are inside the right bottom corner of the cell of the active cells. And you can modify the style of the active cell or the active cells by clicking on the cell, and then clicking on the font color. For example, I want this color to be like blue, and the background is going to be yellow or any color you prefer, black or whatever. And then the font type, for example, any font type you prefer, and then the font size, any size you prefer. So you can play with it any style you want. You can choose it in Microsoft Excel. Even you can say, is it bold, is it italic, is it underlined, or whatever. Any style you can apply on any cell or any data inside Microsoft Excel. And you can delete any column by right clicking on the column itself and then go to delete, so the column is going to be deleted. Even the row, by right clicking on the row and then press delete, so the row is going to be deleted, and the row after is going to be overwritten on the deleted row. Even for the column in the right is going to be brought to the deleted column. And you can insert a new column between two columns by right clicking on the column and then click insert. A new column is going to be appeared. Even for the rows, you can click on the insert, then a new row above is going to be created. So you can add or remove any row or any column inside your entire workbook by right clicking on the column which you want to insert a new column after, or right clicking on the column which you want to insert any new row.